Romantic love is a trap. So I was kind of hold on. I was debating whether I should actually make a video with me in it, but here I am making a video. So I can recall a couple of things in my previous relationship uh, with my former spouse. Um, I remember a lot of times she would tell me that she was a hopeless romantic, that she was like this very romantic person, right? She had these deep romantic feelings for being romance and things like that. And I noticed that the way things ended showed the exact opposite of that. Um, towards the end of it, there was like this very stark disappearance of like intimacy, and it was kind of like months where I was just like basically starved of it, and I didn't know how to get it and things like that. And there was no way I could actually. Um, I guess I did try the communication thing, but the communication thing really just it ended up making it worse because it just made her more frustrated because she almost like she just thought she was hoping that I would just understand how to solve things and how to fix things, or that she never wanted to fix it in the first place. Um, I couple of things. Um, I've recognized that it seems that me having the capacity to emotionally connect with someone and not having that completely ripped and destroyed and still being able to give uh, certain aspects of myself is it seems to be a crutch. I say it's a crutch because in the modern dating market, it seems that emotional availability is it is a it's almost a cardinal sin. It's a mortal sin um, when it comes to dealing with women. I took the red pill before running into my ex spouse, and one of the things that I was had affirmed to me is that a lot of the things in the red pill it happens, and you don't even it happens. The red pill, I think it has to happen to you. I uh I think that's what I mean. It has to happen to you. You can't just you can't just understand the information and then you're good. Now there's a few people who they are capable of it. I would say, people there are people who can look at things, knowledge and understand it and take it in, and then instantly they know it's the truth and then they follow it and everything. But I think for most people it has to hit them hard. And then that hard hitting, that's what makes it wisdom, is because it hurts. For me, towards the end, I noticed was probably she was probably like ovulating because she was well, she literally went on Tinder and changed her profile up and started like dressing skimpy, right? And a lot of times when women do that, it's a sign that they're ovulating or they're close to it. Um, which is really interesting. And I don't think they're even aware of it, but subconsciously, I think they are at least subconsciously aware. but their conscious mind isn't aware. They just think they're doing something because it's comfortable. I'm sure guys have heard that before. It's comfortable. Women like using words that hide their true intentions, and the camouflage of plausible deniability because it allows them to escape accountability and to escape possible confrontation. Um, in a way, I always think that they would be good ninjas. Um, Now, I know that women aren't the enemy necessarily. The enemy are the ones who are socially programming us to not like each other, to think that we are each other's enemy and things like that, and to treat other people like napkins, just really terrible. Uh, the more I see how people treat each other, the more I really don't want to interact. The more I really don't want to interact with other people. Um, Interacting with people is I think it becomes kind of painful in that way because you never know if a person's trying to get an edge over you or if they're trying to figure out how to best you somehow, or if they're trying to figure out how to um, I don't know. People are interesting. um Talking about how romantic love is a trap. uh, this is kind of a mild rant. Romantic love is a trap because at first the guy, whether the guy just wants to have intimacy, things like that. I can't say that word on YouTube because they'll probably try to take my thing off. Um, and then the woman's with the guy, and then after a while, they go through the honeymoon phase and stuff like that. But then the small controlling little actions always seep in, and the guy finds himself, and then also the woman wants him to be faithful, and she doesn't want him to go to other women. But I don't know. There's an element of this that is not honest. It's not genuine because women are attracted to guys who are attractive to other women. So if the guy swears off other women, then his ability to appear attractive to the woman he's with, that goes away too. His knife becomes dull. He's not capable. He's not as capable as she doesn't revere his edge as much when she thinks that he's a kept man. It's it's interesting. One thing I've noticed about um, dating is, and I've always feared this. I've always feared that I had to get rid of that emotional availability, just kind of drown it out, just like put it underwater and just drown it until it goes away, because it is not attractive at all. I think it's attractive to a woman that doesn't exist, or is on the other side of the world. Um, so yeah, I mean, I've always wondered. I kind of fantasize sometimes about the version of me that's not emotionally available. Um, Sometimes I wish I was like that, like I didn't care, uh, because it would make. I think it would make things easy. Romantic love is it's a lie because women don't value the love that men feel for them. They value the love. They value it's almost like they value a sense of fear that the guy could leave. If the guy is showing, oh, I love you, and he has a feeling of love, that seems to repel women. So then the ones who would have the advantage would be the men who are evoking a sense of fear in the women. So this would be Machiavellian guys, guys who are very psychopathic, uh, guys who are high in sociopathy, guys who are high in disagreeableness. Of course, agreeable men would be out of that because agreeable men would be seen as submissive by most men, by most men and most women. Um, what else? A guy who's high in openness would be good. He'd be creative. He'd be able to. Um, he'd be able to give her new experiences. I'm trying to think of something else. Oh, being high in empathy. I think that would be bad. Uh, because being high in empathy would it's not interesting. It's she expects it. Um, Women see good behavior as something that um, they see it as a sign of weakness. They don't actually value it. Um, they value negative behavior more than positive because negative behavior gives them. I think negative behavior for a lot of women creates a stronger emotional bond, um, which is messed up, but it's a thought. Positive behavior from men would elicit, it would repulse them, and it would create, maybe it can create a stronger bond, but that bond would not be, initially, it wouldn't be as strong. So I guess if you had a guy that treated a woman well, this would be that guy. And a guy who treated her terrible, this would be that guy. So, the guy who treated her well, this is where his curve goes. His curve goes like this. It just slowly goes up. Slowly, 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 slowly. And it stays there. This is where she remembers. She remembers he was like this. And a guy that treats her awful, his spikes like this. It's just spikes, 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 spikes. So the guys who are complaining that women keep going after bad boys and men who are emotionally unavailable and guys who are high in psychopathy and criminals and sociopaths and all of these other things, which they are going after these guys in some percentage, yes. But uh, the thing is, the reason is because those guys can spike the interest, spike, 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 spike the interest, whereas the guys who are higher in empathic traits and in emotional things that we would consider good for humans. Those guys don't spike the emotions. The emotions kind of gradually go up, but then it's a predictable slope, right? The woman wants to feel uh, an instant drop, and she wants to feel a spike. She wants to feel a drop again. She wants to feel a spike and a drop and a spike and a drop. It's almost like she wants to feel an emotional vacuum. She wants to fill an emotional vacuum. Whenever she's feeling up, she wants to feel down. Like she wants to replace that up with a down. When she goes down, she wants to know when she's gonna go up again, but she doesn't. Well, she doesn't want to know when it's gonna go up, but she's waiting for that. Oh, okay, I got it. Up, 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 up. Um, it does sound like it's an addiction, but for the guys who were raised by their mothers, who were raised by a woman, and you know, I'm thinking there's something there. I'm hoping I can look back at these videos that I've made, and hopefully it'll actually have value for the people who watch it. Um, One thing I could say with my relationship, um, and the relationships I've had in the past, um, I'm surprised that I still have the capacity to emotionally bond in the way that I know I still have, because I've been very jaded on a lot of things when it comes to dating. Um, the stark loneliness that I feel and that men feel and that incels get blamed for. Um, it's weird. Incels get shamed for being alone and being extremely emotionally vulnerable and just feeling awful and having a low self esteem and things like that. Women, when they have low self esteem, they get like what soap commercials, like the Dove soap, or girls, get looked at by guys, and their worth is on their looks, and they don't feel beautiful and things like that. Um, you could almost call this a mild rant, but I'm really just talking. Um, I was talking to a chick today, and she was telling me how her partner just didn't cut it. He wasn't black, and she was used to black guys, and I thought that was really interesting. Uh, Weirded me out a bit, but preference is preference. If you got a preference, you got a preference. I can't knock it, but definitely weirded me out. Sabotage. So here's the thing I noticed about that. It doesn't seem like there's a point in having relationships, particularly with someone who has had several bad relationships, because they'll end up sabotaging the relationship you're in. And I actually have experience with this. I'm not just talking out of my butt. Like, they'll a lot of from what I've seen, they sabotage the relationship, and uh, they're even given the green light by either their family or friends just to sabotage something, to end it and destroy it, with no attempt to fix it or anything like that. They just go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. Now, I know in the red pill space, we call this monkey branching. Uh, Monkey branching is something I experienced recently, and I didn't think it was bad, just hearing about it. But when you actually go through it, it's one of the worst experiences you can feel. Uh, I think in some ways, monkey branching is worse than if you just find out the person was cheating him. Because with monkey branching, uh, while you're in the relationship with the person, they're scheming against you, man. It's like, Jesus, it's like, first, even if they did love you, they didn't love you enough to, uh, like there's a chick that I run into every now and then. She works at a store, and I think I hit on her one time, and then after that, I ran into her again, and from what I understand, she's very after she got out of her relationship, she didn't want to rush into things, and she didn't want to. And I don't know if this is true or not, and I know some women lie about it. I'm not, dumb, but she didn't want to rush into anything, and she wanted to take her time before she went out again into that world. And listening to it was interesting, because I know that there are a lot of people who feel they have to go into a relationship instantly after the first one breaks, breaks apart. Uh, but one thing I would say is that new person that you're putting in a mix, they're just along for the ride for the pain that another person caused you or that you caused another person. The new person that you brought is just along for the ride. They don't really know what they're getting into. There's a lot of things I wish I would say. I wish I would have said to my ex that that I didn't get to say. Um, Regrets are interesting. So this isn't the traditional format for my videos. This is a off the cuff just conversation. Um, I don't know exactly why I decided to do this, but I'm doing it. Um, Romantic love is it's not a thing. Now, the closest thing we can get to that is two people that are raised in a culture that value certain qualities enough to actually get what we would consider romantic love. Um, that would be in certain countries like I don't know, maybe just other countries other than the West. Maybe somewhere in Southeast Asia, but I know they have problems there too because women are women, and wherever you go, it's just depending on the culture, certain things are blocked. Hypergamous instincts. Certain instincts are blocked. Certain methods of whatever people do. I'm not really saying anything really technical. I'm just kind of speaking right now. I'm just sharing my thoughts. This was a really rough day, and I'm hoping when I look back on this video um, that I can at least find some breadcrumbs or something. Just as a couple of last thoughts, because I don't really want to add much more. Modern dating it's dead. Um, Women are like zombified. A lot of them. They're not very ladylike anymore. They're not appreciative of men. They think they're better than us just because they earn a living, which you know it's funny because during the 50s and 60s, women were complaining that they wanted to be a wage slave too, right? They wanted to go out and and earn a wage at a terrible job just like men. So women were, in a way, they were kind of protesting their own slavery, their own enslavement, not realizing it, because they were actually a higher class than the men. The men were working for the women. So in a way, the women in the past were like the aristocracy. Um, but now they actually lowered themselves to the position of the men, and now they're earning their own living just like the man. Uh, you know, you have to make that make sense in their heads. I don't know. Um, it makes perfect sense to me. Uh, I also had to realize that while we're trying to figure out or while we're trying to figure out this wage gap thing, it's like, well, you cut in half the salary of the average man just by entering the workforce. And now you're competing with him for a job that he needs in order to be attractive to you. But you don't need the job to be attractive. You just need the job to feel good about yourself. You don't actually need it. It's just something, it's an option. I've noticed everything in the world for women is an option, and everything for man is something he needs to do. Uh, there are exceptions. You have Chad, you have You have men who are really rich. You have men who are working out, and that I can't lie, that makes a difference. Um, I have an edge when it comes to confidence every now and then, but even sometimes I think my neuroticism gets the best of me. Um, I don't know if I'm high in negative emotions, but it definitely affects um, how I act in a lot of ways. A couple of nuggets I've learned. There's a there's a quote. I don't know where I heard the quote from. I think I think what is his name? Clarkson. I forgot his name. Chesterton. He had a quote, and he was saying that women's pragmatism staunchly, like it's almost trying to attempt to beat down men's idealism. But it seems that in the modern day, you have men with these ideals, the idealism of the ideal love that they have. It it is in staunch battle. It's in battle with pragmatism, women's pragmatism, which is largely being shaped by culture. Um, there's a quote. So what does the quote say? The quote is, "Women, uh, men are romantics disguised as pragmatics, and women are pragmatics uh, disguised as um, romantics." So women, they they pretend to be the most romantic, but most of the most of the guys that they're interested in are only guys that they can get something out of. It's not guys that have some sort of unique quality that they're attracted to necessarily. Not necessarily. It can be. It can be. Now, guys, okay, I won't lie. Guys want to. There's not really a lot. It's not really a lot of leeway with us. I mean, we're pretty simple, and our attraction floor is very low. Like we're attracted to a lot more women than women are attracted to men. Um, but yeah, that's all I got. I don't know if I want to do any more videos all that much more, but this is at the very least is a stream where I can actually say my thoughts and drag it on a little bit longer than I normally do. Um, I think modern dating is screwed. The reason is a lot of different things. Women's their heads are gassed up. Uh, they get too much attention. They 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 get so much stimuli. They get so much attention that even if a man who is attractive enough tried to give them attention, it wouldn't be enough. But they get uh, some people wonder why the small town girl is attractive. It's because there's not as much competition for her. The lack of competition is what makes her more attractive because in that woman, she's more humble. She has more humility, and her character traits seem more. Uh, she seems more accessible to a guy. That's the reason why guys like small town girls. Um, the girl next door is probably a similar dynamic, but I'm not completely sure about that. I think proximity plays into that. I haven't thought about it too much. I had thought about why guys um, don't like to read maps and why they don't like to, or not reading maps, but why they don't like to take directions, especially when they're with their wives. They just want to solve it themselves. I don't think people realize this, but if the guy doesn't solve it himself, then the woman could see that as him not having leadership qualities, and she could end up losing attraction for him if he defers to another person for something that he's doing. That's just a thought. I see that a lot of times women make the joke like, "Oh, he won't pull over and ask directions and stuff like that." It's like, well, you expect him to lead, so he's doing what he has to do in order to make you feel safe. And if he defers to someone, then you're probably going to end up feeling more safe with the person he defers to, right? um, it was just an interesting thought. Um, it's kind of all I got. I put Iron Heart there because I wanted to see uh, what would happen if I changed it to that. I actually like the name, but yeah. All right, yo.